Hey there. I know it has been a while since I have done an update on everything that's going on. I'm taking my glasses off because I'm getting like, you're seeing like all the things. It's not too bad. Maybe I'll keep my glasses on because I actually do like to see things. So, wow, it has been, it's been remarkably a crazy year. 2020 was not something, yeah, no, I don't think anybody was ready for what 2020 brought us. And I'll let you know a bit about what was going on, due to all of the effects of coronavirus, running the business, having to cut major expenses, and basically just trying to do whatever to stay alive to hopefully get to 2021 and seeing some remarkable changes. Like, fingers are crossed. I'm in my RV right now. We have been doing the safer at home, quarantining at home for the last few months, and it's been a journey even for me to kind of sit down and like having to be forced to slow down. So we decided to bring the RV out and to just change up the scenery. We're still here in Colorado, and we're gonna go down to Pagosa Springs eventually. And I think it'll be just nice to experience some fall, take a look at the mountains and things like that. But, a lot of things have gone on since, since the start of the year. And I know I don't update my vlog very often, but I have to say this year, I really was excited about 2020. This was literally the year that I think everything was going to come together. I was definitely dipping my toe into more professional speaking. That was taking off, going to tech conferences and speaking there. The business of searching for speaking gigs for people, that was literally taking off. And I did my first live event in March. But literally 2 days after we came home, the world literally just started shutting down. It started shutting down, and I think when they officially made the announcements that everything was shutting down here in the United States, that was March 16th. That was my birthday. So that was an interesting way to kick off another year on this planet. And ever since then, I tried to power through like a lot of people. You just put my head down, because I've always said, with a lot of the work stuff, it's always, I don't have time. I'm on the road. I mean, last year I was on the road a lot, and this year was looking to be a lot of on the road as well. And I really did try to power through, like some people who did all of the, I'm just gonna put my head down and just work. That lasted about a month for me, and I realized that I could not take my head out of the game of everything that was going on around me. Unfortunately, there were people I know who were affected by coronavirus, COVID-19. Some people I know who have family members who've died, friends who've died. Some people that I shared the stage with at previous events passed away. And seeing a lot of my friends who are business owners, seeing them go through a tough time as well. In the beginning, I was actually doing okay. And then, of course, there was the polarization of everything that was going on. Everything took a turn into the political. And then, of course, racism reared up its ugly head. And I think by the end of April, I was it April, May? By the end of April, I was just really just pushing through. By the end of May, with so many the things that were going on literally in the United States and across the world, I was done. To be honest, I was in a state of rage, and I could not function in business as well as I could. So we made some of the big decisions to kind of stay quiet, or at least I did. I have a marketing team, and I have some researchers that work for me. And one of the best things that I did was slow everything down. I went back to extreme basics with the business. I didn't try to push out any new content, didn't try to do anything new, because I honestly just I was just not mentally there. And one of the best things that I ever did was getting in contact and working with a therapist to kind of process everything that was going on, because that was probably my biggest struggle, is just processing everything that was happening, and then looking at the priorities of what I should be focusing on. And one of the biggest things that came out of all of this was I was just going to focus on myself and my mental health. And I know I did that probably to the detriment of running a business, but it was the thing that I needed to do at that time. I really did need to put on some blinders, because there were a lot of people who were around me. One of the things that was very interesting about dealing with all of this stuff going on in the last year, a lot of the shaming that was happening is shaming people for not trying to grow their business, shaming people for not doing what they think is right. And I was just so done. So working with the therapist really helped. Getting off social media, you have no idea how much that really did help. And one of the moves that we made over the summer was to just, the thing that I've always been wanting to work on was creating systems. So I needed to do some work. So what we did was go very quiet, go very dark for the most part. And I just sat down and created systems for my researchers, for my assistants, all the things that were in my head. Because what I realized is that when I had to kind of take a step away from everything was still me. I was the bottleneck of getting things done. And that was one thing I said, that we can't have that anymore going forward. So all I did for 3 months was just really sit down and record all of these systems. And I feel so good about that. I feel so good about where I am, where we are in the business. Because unfortunately, I had to slow everything down to a pause. And, coronavirus isn't one of those times you want to, I didn't want to slow down, but, sometimes maybe this was a slight blessing in disguise to force me to slow down and get everything in order and figure out what my next step is going to be. And it was nice being in the quiet and trying to figure out what's going on. So and with that, my goal was to just find whatever little pieces of happiness that I could during all of this that's going on. I mean, it's still, the crazy part is that it's still happening. So a few things that I did, I actually ordered flowers for the house. So this was my little thing of every 2 weeks getting flowers, because I needed to add some happiness to my home since I was staying in it so long now. Just adding some happiness. The other thing was making sure the finances were intact. And wow, this was probably the realization that being on top of your finances was so important during this time. And that was one of the other big things that I had to do. I had to slow down, because I had to do what a lot of other business owners are doing, had to do, unfortunately, will have to do, is take a serious look at the numbers. And I had to make some extreme cuts in how I was doing things. And one of the things that I did before all of this went down in March was I got my team together, we got on the phone, and I said, hey, I will go as long as I can, and I will be very transparent. And when things change, I will let you know. So I won't, just cut people out. So that was one of the things that I wanted to establish early on was, things were fine in the beginning, and then it started to get a little real financially. Because for those of you who are watching this, my business is based on the events business in the around the globe. Live events, helping speakers find live events. And then my little side hustle to the company hustle is that I'm a speaker as well. So all of my speaking gigs got canceled, moved into next year. Yes, I had virtual events, but virtual is very different. So it was a big adjustment. And one of the things I didn't do was pivot, because I didn't want to pivot because I didn't want to pivot into something that I didn't know I wanted to do yet. So my plan of action was just to slow it all down and just kind of figure out what it was that I was working with. And I think that was the biggest thing that helped me a lot. So now we're walking into the fall. The speaking gigs are coming. I actually have about 12 that are lined up, and which is amazing because I wasn't really looking for a lot of speaking gigs, but I will be blessed with all of the opportunities that are coming, because yeah, a lot of things dried up, but that's okay. You know, that was okay. This was the universe talking to me. But things are still coming in, and I am feeling a little bit more hopeful about, I guess not hopeful, but optimistic about what's going to happen business-wise and mental health-wise. I am just so happy that I met my therapist, and I just knew it was time for me to get whatever's in my brain out to somebody else. So gosh, so if you are feeling that way, please reach out and get some help, because I don't think we're out of the woods yet with everything that's going on, and unfortunately the world is being a little unforgiving at the moment. So I think taking a little grace for yourself and patience and throwing in a dose of empathy really does help right now. And I think that's where I have been. It's just been with grace, empathy, and patience. That's it. That's all I have been doing. So this is the latest and greatest. Enjoying the RV, and hopefully there are a few more of these that will be coming in the future. So just wanted to give you an update on everything that's going on, and hopefully you are enjoying the channel. Yeah, if you have any questions about anything, just let me know. So take care of yourself. Stay safe.